Looking forward to. Okay, I guess the arbiter will come in and start the.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
These are the final moments. So the game will begin now. The traditional handshake and D4, D5. Vishy, were you expecting this classical opening repertoire? Queen's Gambit?
Yes, she is. They play it often, Catalan, so that's nice.
Catalan, which is defined by this move G3 and Bishop G2, and Divya opts for Bishop B4 check. Vishy, what is your take on this line after Bishop B4?
Okay, so I'm slightly curious whether knight c3 will happen, which is always kind of fashionable, or will she just go bishop d2?
Yes, we will bring the board in a few seconds, of course, because there is a small delay. For the rapid games, it's usually 5 minutes, but we will try to do our best. And Humpy plays bishop d2 and a5 is on the board. So what is white's idea here? To play queen c2, queen c1, you want to take the pawn on c4 anyway, so queen c2 is a very natural move.
Yes.
And here we have the board. So
And
we can do
Valerie
it
can
here.
actually hear us. We are improving, so now we can actually input the moves also in our analysis board. So after queen c2, what do you think will happen in this game? Will black take on d2?
If you take, I will take with the queen.
And then
That
play
may look very
knight c3
strange,
anyway.
but the point is after c6, a4, b5,
b5.
you take, I take, and then you have this nice trick, queen g5. That used to be one of the points of this thing, of this line. But also you can play a3. So there are a few options here.
Okay, so let's wait for Humpy's move, queen c2 or a3 here. Maybe she can play knight c3 here as well. No, she goes for queen c2.
Queen c2.
It's the
Now
main.
will Divya play queen bishop d2, which is probably the best, or will she play something else? Let's see.
How about this move, Vishy? I remember when I analyzed this line, but it's like yes, sir. Back in the days, c5, striking in the center. Is it possible
Also
here?
quite reasonable.
But Divya went
Also
for
quite reasonable. Yeah.
Bishop d2, and actually throughout this whole event she showed a very good preparation, opening preparation. She was ready in so many lines.
Yes. But I think for Divya, game one was really a big missed chance.
And knight d2.
Okay, so Koneru is going for the other setup, which is knight takes d2, and now if b5, you cannot get the pawn back. But what you do is a4, c6, and b3. And what white is looking for is bringing the knight to c5 and saying that black has an extra pawn, but your pieces are the saddest looking pieces I've seen. But you have an extra pawn, so this is what happens. I played a game myself in this line with black, I mean, and then.
So white is looking for this long-term positional grip. I'm not sure because sometimes very experienced sound also breaks. The white is looking for the long positional grip. Yes, after c takes b3, knight b3, and then playing.
Yes, so white's plan is putting one knight on c5, one knight on e5, like really putting a blanket over black's position. For black, that bishop is almost dead. But there is a very unusual route for that bishop, which is to come to a6. And after capturing on a4, it finds a nice square outside the pawn chain on b5. So the pawn chain is horrible, but we climb outside the wall and then we close the door behind us. So
many errors, so little time, only 15 minutes before the start of the game, 10 seconds increment for each move. But as you can see, you cannot fall asleep in the opening stage. Humpy.
It's hard for me to understand what she's thinking about because b3 is kind of just forced. I suppose you could castle and then play b3, but still.
So maybe the importance of this moment, which it's like you're experiencing so many emotions at the same time. It's not easy, like to forget about everything, just to forget that the physical world exists and to immerse yourself completely in the world of ideas.
Yes. Obviously, with a lot at stake, your mind is going elsewhere. But still, in a chess game, I think the obvious moves you should just make as fast as possible.
Of course, and b3 is on the board.
But one of the things is they may not. Everything which seems obvious to us may not be so quick under tension. Under tension, you may need some few moments to recollect everything. So she clearly got through that line and then.
By the way, the time difference is already 5 minutes.
5 minutes, so 10 minutes. Humpy spent 5 minutes in this opening phase and like for the last 2 moves. Let's say 3 moves because knight d2 was the first one, but queen c2, then b3 and knight b3. Vishy, do you think that was a very good opening choice from Divya? Because this allows you to have these double-edged positions, maybe, where she can still have a few winning chances if something goes wrong for Humpy.
Yes, though for me it's not really Divya's style, but the opening gives you a chance to counterattack. But for a few moves, Black has to play very passively, and I think that's maybe the problem for her.
And it seems that she is familiar with the ideas. She just played bishop a6.
Mm-hmm.
So
but she did it after the class, right? Yeah.
Yes, we have the live position on the board, of course. And castle, bishop a6 is on the board. And both players look very confident. I think that it's such an important quality to have, especially during those tough moments. You have to believe in yourself more than anything.
Also here I could play knight c5.
Mm-hmm. Knight c5.
And if b takes a4, knight takes a6.
And here you take with the knight or the rook?
Well, rook feels funny, but if you take with the knight, I would play queen takes c6.
But then maybe rook a6.
Maybe claim that your a pawn is not so great.
And then you can still play e4, yes, or e3 and knight e5. But what about rook a6 then in this moment after knight a6?
Yeah, but then I just play rook a4.
Mm-hmm.
And then knight e5 next and so on.
So knight d7 maybe to finish the development and with
rook
mutual
fa1.
play. Rook fa1. But the position seems to be rather balanced. So let's say if the worst comes to the worst, Divya will lose one of those pawns. I don't know which one.
Maybe just c5 is fine now because I will get the pawn back. most
So
likely.
c5 here.
Yeah,
If you're going to lose a pawn, is it better to lose the c pawn or the a pawn? What do you think, Visha?
so here if I take on c5, yeah.
And Divya just took on a4, so we might see this line on the board, and after knight e6, I think that Divya will play rook a6, or knight a6 and then knight b4. This is also a very interesting option, and Humpy just took knight
She
a6.
took the bishop, right? Okay, so I'll tell you, knight a6, queen takes c6. And now knight d5 I want to try.
Okay,
No, but she took with the rook actually.
so knight rook a6 protecting the pawn on c6. So actually that's what I had this feeling that Divya wants to keep this pawn for the moment, so she wants to give away the pawn on a4. And then my question was, which one you give? The one on c6 or the one on a5 if you would have a choice?
Yeah. Okay, she's gone rook a4. If knight b d7, maybe I should.
By the way, if we play rook a1 here and then the move that you suggested, c5, if we continue this line d takes c5, then you will simply play queen c7 and then rook c8.
Yeah, anyway, I think we're going to find out. She's played knight b d7. Now I'm thinking how white can play to stop this. Okay, in the game, you're going queen c7. If I go rook c4,
Yes, let's just bring the analysis board.
Knight.
No, rook c4 after. Rook c4 here.
and then
And then
c8.
rook c6, maybe, or rook c8. Rook c6 is a bit dangerous. I thought knight d4 can come, yes?
But it's true that as long as your rook is in front, it doesn't really matter.
So maybe rook c6 is also possible. Here, by the way, we have rook a1. So they are following our line. And please have a look at their time difference. 15 minutes for Divya Deshmukh and only 7 minutes for Humpy Koneru. Time is already a very important factor after 15 moves. Yes, 15 moves have been played.
Let's see if Divya will play c5. A quite important decision.
So maybe she's simply pushing c5 and is getting her pawn back. Then we will end up with a symmetrical pawn structure and an equal position. But which move should we make here?
Maybe instead of rook fa1, I should play rook c4 or something. I don't know.
Rook c4 preventing c5. Yes, okay. Let's try. Yes, this move. Rook c4, also show it on the board. But then maybe your move, once again, Visha, that you suggested, because I'm not so familiar with this line, but knight d5 and securing then the pawn on c6 by playing knight b4.
Yeah.
If you take it, yes, then this is it.
Okay. Anyway, we have rook fa1.
Okay, one, and Divya is taking her time. Once again, I like the way that she manages her time. The time management, of course, during those rapid game is a very important factor. So she's always taking her time in the critical moments. Sometimes her decisions surprise us, yes, because she's always playing for a win. But here she knows that with the black pieces, her first task is to equalize, yes, to get out of the opening.
That she actually did, right? The position is quite balanced.
So how about, do we have an alternative to c5, by the way? Can we
Harder
make...
to see it, right?
Yes, but if we make, for example, the move knight d5, probably it's going to be met by e4, and we don't have knight b4 here. So, of course, it's important to
Yes.
mention, yes, the idea behind rook a1 is also to counter this idea, sort of prophylactic move, attacking and prophylactic at the same time, a very versatile rook on a1. So but the black pieces are not set anymore. Vishy, you've said that you're trying, to keep this bishop on c8, but Divya knows the plans in this position.
Sure. Bishop a6 and ba4 was nice. I wonder if it's theory.
Well, I can check it, yes, in my database. You know me, it takes some time to check in the database, but let's have a look, of course. I know that it's been frowned upon, but bishop d2, a5, queen c2. Okay, let me check the database. I'm curious to find. So after bishop d2, knight d2. We don't have that many games, by the way, only 100 games in the database, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of them were blitz games, so a4, c6, and b3. Knight b3, castle, and yes. So they're still following modern theory, and after knight c5, b takes a4, knight a6, only 6 games in the database, and then 5 games after rook a6. Then almost always rook a4 was played, knight d7, and here we are. The 4 games that I have in the database, they were not played on the elite level. They continued by rook a1. And we have a move, queen b6 was played by Divya. Still have one last game here, and after queen b6, actually white played knight d2, rerouting the knight to this square on c4. Vishu, what do you think about this idea?
Well, the question is what happens for c5?
So what, knight c4 and then queen c7 maybe. And actually Humpy goes for it. Knight d2 is on the board. c5, queen c7, queen a7. What would be your choice in this position?
Yes, one of them. Queen c7, queen a7.
I don't know where the queen stands better. We have rook a8, so it means that Divya is Divya is not intending to play c5 here, so she simply wants to protect the pawn on a5.
She loves the extra pawns.
Yes, she can join Yasser Seron's club of pawn grabbers.
You have to refresh it.
But wait, now if I play e3?
E3. And what is your idea after knight d5? Let's say one of the moves that we can make.
Knight b3.
Knight b3. Okay, now as it seems, white got everything she wanted. Yes, so the knight on b3, the queen on c2, rook on a4, rook on a1 are on the optimal squares. The bishop is on g2, of course, is on this big diagonal, so black has to make a useful move here. And can we make a move like maybe g6 here, or something? I don't want to make the move h6, but what do you think? We should simply to wait and see rook a7.
Yeah, maybe knight b3 isn't the ideal square. Somehow we're getting it to d3. Then I think I have some potential, but how to get it there is interesting.
So if we can get it to d3, yes, just to show this maneuver is knight c1, knight d3. So it's a rather balanced position, yes, that Humpy has everything and Divya seems to know what she is doing here, and she is doing very well. By the way, we have the results of our poll. For the moment, 59% of our audience is rooting for Divya Deshmukh, and 41% of our audience is supporting Humpy Koneru, but things can change, and this gap was always very narrow, as we know. E3 is on the board. So will Divya play knight d5, or she will make another useful
She already
move?
played knight d5.
She already played knight d5. So 4 minutes for Humpy Koneru, and this middle game is still a very complex one. Valerie, now this is your moment.
To shine?
Yes, this is your moment to shine.
Okay, what about knight c4? Is it an option to put the knight on c4 at all? But after queen c7, there is nothing special, right?
And then
The
maybe we
knight on
can
c4
play.
is not placed well.
But maybe we can play queen d2 here. Yes, maybe. And then c5. What can happen here? Yes, after queen d2, c5, black equalizes. Yes, this is it, Vishu. What do you think? So we'll
Yeah,
take
but
on
even
a5.
instead of c5, I can play knight d5 to b6.
Knight 5 to b6. And then if we trade everything, then queen takes on b6 once again.
Queen takes b6.
Yes.
The point was obviously rook a5, knight c4 is winning for black.
Yes, let's just show it. So with the
That's
knight
why
on
not the other knight and so on. Yeah.
Okay, and knight c4, we have it on the board.
Yes, knight c4, we have it on the board. So if queen c7, yes, queen d2, knight e6, knight 5 b6. And then maybe white should not rush. Yes, but what else can we do after queen c7? If we don't play queen d2, maybe we can simply wait. Can we make a tricky move, something like bishop f1? And then maybe I
now
have a jump.
c5 is really working.
Yes, c5, and then. Okay, c5, but maybe I have a jump here. That was my only hope in this position. What jump can I have after bishop f1? Okay, knight e5. Okay, let's try knight e5. And after knight e5, black probably has to play rook a7, yes? And then I can take on d7 and take on c5. Oh, it doesn't work, okay. I managed to find something here, queen c5, and maybe this is not the position that black should have after this sequence of move. And we have knight c4, but Humpy is very slow. Vishu, 2 minutes 50 seconds for Humpy Koneru. So maybe bishop f1 is a tricky move, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense, but we have queen d2 on the board, and now we're waiting for Divya to play knight 5 b6.
Knight 5 to b6. But what if we take on b6, let's say queen b6 once again, and white can also maneuver for quite a while here. Just you wait. Because the rooks are stuck, yes, on the a file. And you cannot play c5 here because this bishop on g2 is a monster. Vishu, maybe this is sort of a status quo here in this position after
Yeah, it
this.
seems to be about equal, right?
Yes.
And we have that here.
We have knight b6. So neither of the sides.
But Kanyan would still be correct.
So neither of the sides can improve after knight b6, queen b6. And you cannot take knight b6 because then we will take on a5. Just a second. And okay, we have this trade of one of the
So we
last
have this position.
minor pieces.
Could not be for black the idea of playing knight f6, knight d5, and maybe later
But let's
knight
say
d4?
that's exactly what I wanted to anticipate. Just to avoid it, maybe you should make a move where you can like take something like rook c4, queen c3 is on the board. Okay, but knight f6 is possible. But okay, probably Humpy wants to play rook c1 now.
And we have
Yeah,
knight
she did it
f6.
already. 6.
I'm anticipating the action. And that's the commentator's role in chess is not an easy one because you're not commenting the direct action, so creating emotions. You're also anticipating, like a scientist. Yes, we have a few hypotheses, and then we need the empiric evidence, yes, to support this hypothesis. And we are very often wrong. So queen c3.
Maybe e4 even makes sense.
But Humpy is getting very low on time here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important moment
Yeah,
because
1.5 minutes.
yes, Divya has more than 9 minutes here and Humpy goes rook c1. I think she understands also the importance of this phase in in her game because this time Humpy needs to admit that this is it. You know, it's time to switch gears. Divya has equalized.
Yes, she should be trying to blockade or put up a rook on c5 or something and just make a draw. Queen a1, rook c5, something like that, make a draw, go home. Or go to the next game.
Yes, and as we know, if this game is drawn, the time control is going to be even a faster one. 10 minutes plus 10 seconds increment. Vishy, are you staying with us for the next game until the end of this tiebreak, till the end of the night, until dawn?
No, I have to leave after this one. Okay, she's gone bishop takes d5. Could she have played ed5? I mean cd5.
CD5.
I think probably the same, queen a1 and rook c5. But queen c8 check, I have queen d8. It's no big deal.
But maybe simply...
But anyway, now I can play queen
Yes.
a1 or queen a3 and rook c5, and I think I just keep that clamped. Or even rook fa1. And neither side can make any progress.
So black has this symbolical advantage, this optical illusion, but neither side can make any progress, even though Divya has this extra pawn. But everything is fixed on the queen side and the rooks cannot leave the A file. But as we've seen, I think this game will last for a moment or two. Because Divya will try to shuffle her pieces around.
Yeah.
And what do you think, Vishy? Sagar is probably chanting right now, you know, he's getting very excited about this historic moment.
Probably. I doubt he can be excited about this position, but he probably is excited by the occasion. So,
Yes, of course, and who will rise to the occasion?
in fact, I was in his stream yesterday, and I mean, you could not ignore talking about the historic situation, especially for the women's game in India. This will be a big boost, I think.
By the way, Visha, that's the question actually that I wanted to ask for a while. Do you think that the chess players are the rock stars of the modern times? You know, they are truly admired, supported, and with the chess boom everywhere, they are becoming role models for everyone. It transcends the chess world.
I hope so. I think definitely a lot of youngsters look up to chess players, and we are um, supposed to demonstrate what chess teaches us: the ability to think ahead, the ability to concentrate, all the the good values, and I hope that continues.
But so, if we compare chess and cricket, I think, do you think that chess players are recognized and they're reaching the status of the cricket players right now?
If you come to India, it's probably best not to compare chess and cricket.
Okay, I'm allowed, so in my studio in Batumi. But I really hope, because I have such admiration for the game and also for my colleagues. And you don't know, but we have this bet between us, because I voted for Humpy and Valery voted for Divya. So even our studio
Uh,
is divided, but it's a very important also moment for me. So I have goosebumps every time we are watching those tie breaks. But this position, is not what we can call fireworks, yes, on board.
no, at the moment they're both well prepared, and in a way, it's nice the tension is building, but they have not found the weakness in each other yet. So,
So how many seconds? 30 seconds for Humpy. She needs to speed up. Even if her position is very solid, she needs to make those moves a bit quicker.
yeah, just rook a2, rook a1. The thing is, sometimes you have to just admit you have no advantage and just, tell yourself that and move on. So, even after queen c7, queen c5 is a nice move. Yeah, that's a nice move to make, because now I can just play rook a1, rook a2, rook a1, rook a2, and what can you do?
And I can see that Humpy gained a few seconds on her clock. She has more than 1 minute, and here we are. Divya is offering the queen trade. Maybe we should simply play queen c3 here, and Humpy goes for it.
Yes.
Because maybe trading the queens and allowing Black's king to get to the d6 square offers a slight hope, yes, for black pieces, but queen c3 is cementing the position. Queen b6, but it seems that we have been here
Yes.
before, Valeria, yes, and maybe rook a1.
Rook a1.
Rook b2 and b2.
Rook b2 even, and then rook a2 back. And Divya is fully concentrated, of course, but both players know that they are going for the next portion of this tiebreak. 10 plus 10. By the way, Vishu, what do you think about this? Because I think that who is coming with all these names? Armageddon, sudden death, just to emphasize that how difficult it is, how the price of each move is so important, that your life is at stake.
I don't know. Armageddon has been around for a long time, right?
Yes.
Sudden death sounds kind of reassuring as well. Anyway, I think our vocabulary is well developed in this area.
So we haven't seen actually any sudden
we
death
know how to
yet.
describe all these situations.
So if the match goes till that moment where we will see the sudden death blitz games, it's going to be unbearable, I think. For the players, for the commentators, for the audience, it's like,
Yeah.
we've been patiently waiting, and it is such a pleasure. I was comparing it like waiting for a new episode. This is such a thrilling finale. But today the tournament will end, and we will find out the name of the winner.
Yes, we will.
What about f6 g5 plan?
F6 G5, because we have an issue in the studio, because it seems that I have the G5 square, you know, it's a like problem, it's my favorite. So
I had to say that.
yes,
I had to offer
Valerie,
f6
as a
g5.
coach, had to state the obvious, so that I have G5 issues. So how about f6
G5
G5
syndrome.
here? Yes, but maybe if you play f6 G5, then of course I will switch to another side of the board and I will play rook h1 at that moment.
Yes.
Vishy agrees with me. Well, you cannot contradict. So f6 and a g5 will be met with rook h1. And here we are. Maybe Humpy can also wait and play king g1, king g2.
Yeah, actually she was doing that for a few moves.
Yes, she switched to.
Now she
the-
can play queen f8 if she wants.
Mhm. And maybe black can play queen f8.
Here?
Yes, to offer.
Queen c3, and then you have to go back again. So it's impossible
Yes.
to make real progress here.
Yes, to offer another queen straight, but of course white will decline it, and then after queen c3 attacking the pawn on a5, you have to go back. Queen d8, queen a8. Valerie, what is
f6 g5. Anyway, it has to be done.
FGG? No, I was thinking, what do you think about how long this game will go on? For a while, yes.
Yeah. We saw these kind of things from Divya a lot of times. She will fight till the end.
So queen c7, rook a1, now rook a2 can be played, of course. Vish, I know this has nothing to do with chess, of course, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about your son's your exhibition, because I'm so excited to hear about this one, and I've seen his paintings, so just a few words about his exhibition.
So the exhibition is called Morphogenesis, and he got interested in math patterns. He puts a lot of math patterns in his art, and morphogenesis is something he learned from Alan Turing concept, and he tries to bring it in his art whenever he can. Quite excited. In 2 days, everything is going to be up in the gallery, and yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And where is it going to be featured?
In Chennai.
Chennai.
We're going to exhibit here for 1 week, from the 1st till the 7th of August. And did she play e4?
Yes.
Yes, actually, Humpy played e4, and I wanted to say.
I go queen e5, and what happens?
Yes, queen e5 actually is probably winning for Divya.
Just winning.
It resigns. What is e4?
And that's
And
it.
queen e5 is on the board. What a dramatic change in this game. The tables have turned. Divya was patiently waiting for her chance, and this chance is on the board right now, because Humpy is supporting the pawn on d5, but maybe Divya can play rook d8. What do you think, Vishy? Attacking the pawn?
It resigns. I mean, I was wondering what was going on. How you could play e4. Then I realized the queen is not even supporting e4. So just total collapse.
Yeah.
So this
It's
is
hard to understand if Humpy thought she could really be better in this position. Assuming I didn't play queen e5 and I went rook d8, what is white doing anyway?
after d5.
There is no. It's just a hallucination.
No, but after rook d8, I think maybe white still had queen c3 check, and maybe that was Humpy's idea, but queen e5 is such a powerful move. Let's update the
I have some
board.
issues here.
And actually,
Oh, I must say, CD5 was a terrible blunder. I mean, here white has got back the position she had originally, a worse version, but she's already out of 90% of the danger in that the black rooks still have to sit and defend that a7 pawn. But if Divya had At rook d8, you can shake hands immediately. It's over.
So what a dramatic moment. Divya realized probably that she had to do something, but she didn't find rook d8. And here we are, rook e5 is on the board. And if the queen moves, Humpy can take the pawn on e4.
Maybe rook e8, no, maybe rook e6, sorry, rook e6.
Rook e6, but maybe we can take on e6, yes, and take on a5. There is this geometry and queen d8 check.
Yeah, but you could also take on a5 right away. So,
Probably, yes,
so
of course.
queen a6, rook a5. Yes, that's a. But what else to do? If you go queen c6, I can play queen e4 probably, and you're still stuck defending this a5 pawn. I don't know how you'll make progress. Maybe Divya will take her king all the way to the queen side or something. I don't know.
So queen e4 is on the board, and if Divya takes on e4, then rook e4. That Valery, this was such a moment. His Divya
such a chance.
was one move away from the victory, but now the position is equal once again because Humpy will attack the pawn on a5, maybe even from
You know,
e5.
it's a very nice plan for Divya. She can go rook f6 here.
Rook f6, and then if rook e5.
Then rook f5.
Rook f5. So,
And if you take, yes, so it's not great what I did to the pawns, but on the other hand, now I have rook behind the pass pawn on the other side, and my king comes to f6, and it's some hope.
so king f3,
Actually,
king
probably
g7.
not, because now I'll take my king to the queen side and bring the rook to f4 or something. But what else? If you play king f8, I will play rook e5 and keep that grip there.
Yes, so if king f8, rook e5, and the rook is cutting this king off. Let's have a look. And Divya is leaning towards her rook. She has rook f6 on the board.
She's going rook f6.
Rook e5, and let's see if we'll witness rook f5. Here we are. That's her only chance. It reminds me of her endgame against Jujiner.
Yep.
You know, it was very close to a draw, but then one reckless move from Jujiner, and Divya was on the top of her game with the black pieces, by the way. So rook f5. Humpy still has 1 minute. But rook f5 has to be played. Or maybe we can play rook e7. Let's say if we keep 4 rooks on the board.
But the problem with rook e7 is rook b8.
Rook b8 and rook b2.
Well, you can still play rook a2, and you can now switch to the sandwich mode, rook a2, and put the rook on a7, and like a sandwich, you attack that pawn.
Yes, from a7.
But still, I would have preferred that to this. But here, I think white is still out of danger because I go king e3.
So king e3.
King f6 or something.
And then...
sorry, king e3, king f6, and king d2 maybe.
King
I'm not
d2.
sure what king f4 accomplishes. Why not king f6? Because now can I play king e5? King e5, she wants to tempt her with rook e8 check. Okay.
King e5.
But now rook e5 check.
Rook e8, and the king has to go to d6 because after king f4, rook e4. No, but the king is still out. It's a very interesting endgame. Like after rook e8, king f4, we're losing. Rook e4. And then the king is marching towards the pawn. Yes, even the white
I would
king.
even play f5 check first.
F5 check. F5 check and this.
So that if you go king d4, I can play f4 and so on.
Here, rook e4.
So she has to go up the board. She has to go to d5 probably.
And f5 check here. But Divya is still thinking.
But now after king d5, rook e2, maybe there's some hope for black.
Rook a6 was
She went
played.
for rook e6. Now, her idea is that if Humpy goes king d5, she'll play f4. But if Humpy, oh, she's done it. She's blundered. F4.
Divya is
Humpy could have
fighting.
played f4 herself with probably good chance to hold. But now,
Now she can take on f4, of course, because then the king will march. King f5, king g4. So maybe Humpy.
no. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. You can't take with the rook because of a4 and gf4 because of this thing. What?
And
Is she
Humpy.
going to run back to p1? I mean a1. But it's lost. Now it's lost. a3, rook b1, a2, and then king f5. White got
That's just
black got everything she wanted.
a2, rook
a2,
a1, and king f5.
king f5. I don't know, maybe I have time for f5, but I can go like this. And now rook a3.
And Divya started with king f5. It's like the history is repeating itself, because I've said to our audience that Divya Deshmukh defeated Tan Zhongyi in the semifinals, and the players who were defeating Tan Zhongyi in the semifinals, they were winning the event. Alexander Kostenyuk in 2021 and Alexander Goyachkina in 2023. So was it all written in the stars? Divya Deshmukh defeated Tan Zhongyi in their classical games, so now she is completely winning. And after f3, maybe she can play a2. Yes, rook a1, and then maybe rook a3, like Vishy suggested.
King c4.
Yes, but then you can take on f3. You can take those
I
pawns.
take on f3, take on a2, and I go king g4, and then I collect on g3 as well.
It's a very important king march.
Because
So
now it's not f and h pawns, because your king is too far on the queen side.
So she has to find out that rook a3 idea, and that's it.
yes, but do you remember how long did it take her to convert her winning endgame against Tan Zhongyi?
Yeah. Here we are. She got it.
Rook a3 is on the board, and Divya Deshmukh is at the precipice, but at the precipice of winning the World Cup. She has to stay calm. Humpy Koneru is fighting like a lion, but here she can take rook f3 and king g4.
f6 also possible.
Yeah, f6 also. Yeah. Very
Just
good.
to keep it more accurate.
So, and if the king goes to c4 or to d5, it will be even farther away from
On king
the
d5,
pawns.
we can do first check and then take on f3, right? To force you to be far away.
King d5 is on the board. And yes,
check,
now you
check
can
and
take
on f3.
Check and yes, and take on f3.
Come on, there is nothing to think, actually.
But this is
Time
such
is
a
very
moment,
important.
and you know.
She has more than 1 minute here.
And it was a clash of the generation. But
take on f3, take on a2, and then check on d3 and take on g3 also. But then I'm afraid that the king is able to come back for f versus h.
Who is it?
Okay, I don't know where this one is going. If I go king c5, she wants to go king e5 or something. But then f6 might be a mistake.
Okay, so let's wait, because Divya has to calm down and Humpy needs to find the only moves to stay in the game. King d6, Humpy is down to 16 seconds. Divya has more
Now
than
rook
1
a5.
minute. Rook a5, cutting of the king once again. King e7. Humpy uses her only practical chance. She is attacking the f6 pawn. Rook a6.
But now, yeah, rook a6.
King f7.
And rook a7 check.
Then rook a7 check. So now king e5 is winning again, probably.
And we see the
But if you go g4, white has to play g4 now.
Humpy needs to realize that this is her only chance, g4. And he does it.
But wait, now it might be game over. I go head g4.
Takes. And do you go rook, king f4 here? You're going after these pawns?
Yeah, king f4. You play g5, I take it, you take it, I take it. King c7, king f4, king b7, rook a3, king b6, king e3, king b5. Probably you get some strange.
Yes, your king is not in time here. Yes, the black king is shouldering the white king there. So after king b5, king d3, king b4, you can simply go rook
No, but there's
a7.
a thing at the end when I play my king to d3, you'll play king d3, I'll go rook
Rook
somewhere
somewhere.
in the b5 check and I'm winning.
Yes.
So, but she did something else, right? She went rook a7 checking c6.
Yes, there's a very beautiful position, by the way, which remained behind the curtains. This line which we analyzed.
Yeah, without taking. So gh5, king takes f3.
So king f4, but once again, maybe this is her Achilles heel, the rook endings. King f4 is on the board. She has to fight against herself. Divya Deshmukh needs to convert this winning endgame, and g takes h5 is on the board. But now things are not clear once again. h6.
So now f5 simply. I start pushing that pawn, f5.
King b6.
By the way, it seems
Then rook
that...
h7, rook takes a2, rook h6, rook h4, and your king is too far away.
By the way, Vishay, I think it seems that after g takes h5 and king f3, Humpy was drawing by king d5. It reminds me of this Retzi puzzle.
Danger,
yes, yes. King d5, but one move too
The
late.
question is, can she do this now or it's too late? Now king, what am I, f4? King e5 maybe.
Yes, king e5 actually draws, but she goes h7. She is using this pawn as a decoy.
Yes, but isn't it losing now?
Now it's
But now
losing.
now she can take this pawn, and Humpy takes on a2, but it's not easy to find those moves with a few
King
seconds
G3?
on the clock, and after king g3, this king is too far.
Now it seems simply winning.
But
Yeah, f3 it's over.
what a dramatic game. Divya can play f3 here, but rook g8 is a small threat here, but Divya can still play
Rook takes
rook
h4.
take h4, and she can play rook g4, building the bridge.
No, wait, king e4. But anyway, it's lost.
Yes,
now it's just over.
And f3.
And f3, and it's cut
Wow.
from the wrong side.
So I won my bet, Almira.
Yes, we are. And what I wanted to say in this clash of generations, we also have the passage of time, this ritual where Divya is going to win the World Cup. She's a few moves away.
I think Divya's evaluation bar just hit.
Here we are. Divya Deshmukh
Got the emotions.
has done it, ladies and gentlemen. She cannot hold her tears. This is such a moment for all of us.
Look at her, she's actually
Congratulations
crying.
to the winner of the World Cup, Divya Deshmukh. Humpy Koneru has put such a fight, but it was written in the stars.